start our work session.
Yeah. I had one quick question. Normally we get a email that has the summation of the comments we sent in, or I didn't get that. So am I missing something, or that didn't happen?
So she didn't send one out this week
Okay,
because
that's fine. I just want to verify.
you guys are reviewing every project. No, nothing was pre-approved.
Okay, all right. That
All right.
answers the question.
Yep. First, so let's start with the first one, which is 143 South Maple. I was not clear on which windows were being replaced myself. That was my question.
I too was a little confused, but I thought both of them worked pretty well. So whether it looked like 2/2 is what I got that they were proposing. Which
I just wanted to have a bit of a conversation about the proposed window style, why it's being changed.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, and
Right.
the fan windows, the little circle windows, I don't think those are being replaced. So if we leave those, and I was curious, I know we're not supposed to talk about color, but if they are the black frame, I just felt like that didn't match the house at all, the black framed windows. Like in the example photo.
Okay.
So my main comment, I was a little confused on which ones they were replacing. And the style of the window, since it's in a historic district, they're not allowed to change the styles. And I also wondered if they have considered keeping the windows they have, if they, we had another applicant who didn't even realize that they could fix the windows they have, and they're buying windows that look fine. Marvin's fine, but those are 20-year windows. If they have old growth wood windows, they could last another 100 years instead of 20. So
They wouldn't be insulated though, would they?
you mean the existing windows? No,
Well,
but
they
you can
kept the
use
original windows on the house, and they're 100 years old.
right. So you can just install storm windows and you get nearly the same efficiency. And it's from a sustainability standpoint, it's always better to retain the old growth wood windows and use storm windows than to purchase new windows. So as far as a sustainability standpoint, I mean, if all you're concerned about is getting insulated glass, then that'll last you 20 years and you'll get insulated glass again. So.
Okay, well,
Okay, so we have some discussion points there. I think we can move on to the next one. 21 Mason, which was the rear deck. I didn't have any comments on this. Anyone else?
I think the only change is just that handrail, which I didn't have an issue with.
I was good with it.
Yeah, I didn't really exactly get what was different. Is that the handrail?
Yeah, I think it's the handrail on the deck west elevation, the second page of the submittal. Looked like there was maybe a handrail planned for that side of the stair that's open.
And the lattice infill is square,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I see. The lattice is different down there.
which I think
Looks like a bit of a handrail style change maybe, because there's the one drawing that has the post and post caps coming above the rail, and the other one, the rail runs smooth across the top.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the extended post a bit better, but what they have there is fine.
So this was the one where I was kind of curious where it says requesting exemption of stair railing and handrail. I don't really know what that means. What does that mean? Do we know? Because that doesn't even sound like it's us. It looks fine, but I don't, we can't.
right. We can't. I don't think we're ruling on stair handrails.
Okay, as long as that's not the question. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a code issue.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I didn't have any issue with
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
otherwise.
Next one was 331 South Gore.
This is the one that had revised drawings come in.
My only comment was addressed in the revised drawings, and I think this one looks fine.
Me too. Yep.
Were you saying we want to pre-approve this? Because I'm good with that,
And we
You
can't,
can't,
with the changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Historic, yeah.
it's historic, so you'll have to go through the whole process.
Okay, thanks.
yeah, I didn't have any issues with it either. All right. We can move on to the next one, which would be 450 West Kirkham. That's a 4-season room.
I had no comments on this one. The only concern I had was just getting, if that second story is a bedroom, just make sure they got egress on the other side, because those little square windows are not gonna lie for egress, but that's not really on us. So no comments here.
I have no comments.
My only comment was on the pitch of the roof is so high compared to the existing house. I guess it's not that I think it's terrible, but it is considerably, it looks like it's considerably steeper. Which I guess, not sure, I guess I wonder how it will fit in like that, you know, it's sort of set off, and I don't know. I was just wondering if they, why they made it so steep when the rest of the house is not.
Mhm.
I would say that's a conscious departure from the original house, and I think they're just
I'd rather they answer.
having a little fun in life, and it's different than the roof, but I think where it's located and everything else, it's a little bravado, but I don't have any problem with it.
So yeah, I just had that one question for the homeowner or architect. That was it.
Okay, I didn't have any comments. Next one is 15 Oak Tree. Story addition. This was a nice little way to construct a second story myself.
Yeah. I just had 2 comments on this one. It looks like the only windows that have grills are the second floor windows in front.
Hmm.
I'm not sure why those would have to be different.
Yeah.
And then on the new north elevation, I think this is just a graphical error, but it looks like there's a band board there.
Hmm.
It's like the hatching from the new to existing might be a little bit off, and now it looks like there's a space there. I don't think that's a band board, but just wanted to ask.
I think you're right, it's a CAD error.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Okay.
I have the same question about the second floor windows with the grills. You know, do they need to have muntins, or the rest of it has kind of a clean
Mhm.
look? I guess I don't think they need them there if they really want them. It's not that big a deal, but
Right? If nothing else on Oak Tree, then the last one on the list is 450 West Lockwood, which was a resubmittal. There were plans sent out in an email form that everyone, I assume, got, so.
I think I guess I'm tripped up on the garage still. Because I don't think the drawings, I'm looking at the revised drawings, I don't think they reflect what is built maybe, or maybe they are putting brackets on still. Looks like the drawing still has brackets shown.
As I recall, and check me on this, Kelly, did
Mhm.
Mara mention something about the brackets being back ordered or something? Am I recalling that
Oh.
correctly? That the intent is still to install the
not-
brackets when they arrive?
Not sure about that.
It looks like in the photo, there's a little brace or something. There's a little piece of wood where the bracket will be.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yep. And on the garage right elevation photo, you can see how the return, like the roof return is different on both sides. They don't match.
They don't.
No.
The one in the front is different than the one in the back.
Yeah. That seems a little odd. But
Yeah, I guess when I saw that, since the front of it has the offset and it's gonna get the brackets, I mean, it's asymmetrical, not necessarily objectionable to me.
Did anybody go by and look at this in person? Just out of curiosity?
I saw the garage from the road.
Okay.
I do feel like the garage looks a bit disproportionate. I don't know at what stage of design or construction they eliminated the dormers, but that is an awful lot of roof. You know, it's a shame. I don't know when the decision was made, but they could have saved themselves some money on trusses and roofing materials if that pitch was a bit lower, but it was on the originally approved drawings. And I think once the brackets are installed, it will alleviate some of the awkwardness, because I agree with you, Tracy. The difference in the returns on the side elevation caught my eye. But I think once the brackets are installed, it'll look more coherent. And that short garage door, to me, the side hinge door, just accentuates the disproportionate of appearance of the whole garage. I understand that perhaps that tall door was expensive or maybe hard to get, but a transom above that side hinge door with the head aligned with the overhead door, I think would have done a lot to enhance the appearance and relieve the awkwardness that we see here. Also, too, on the photographs, on the north side elevation at the outdoor kitchen, having that vent right in the center of the gable just is unfortunate. You know, you would expect to see some nice ornamental feature there, not something utilitarian like that vent sticking out of the gable. you know, that's just really detrimental to the appearance of the project, and it perhaps it could have gone out the roof and even just had a plain gable with no ornament there would have been so much better. That just, I mean, it caught my eye right away, and I think it really drags down the quality of the project.
Good evening. How's everybody doing?
Fine,
Good,
thank
how are
you.
you?
Good,
How are you?
fine. Happy New Year's to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Have a good holiday.
Yes.
Good, 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 good.
All right, well, if there's no other comments, on 450 West Lockwood, I guess, we are 10 minutes away from the meeting, so.
Or are you guys you're still wanting to discuss the 450 West Lockwood with the applicants? Is that what I'm understanding?
I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I went by that project before the first prior meeting, subsequent to some comments that came up in our meeting. I went back to look at it again. And, you know, obviously they made changes, but I'm still struggling with, if I just look at face value, what they built and look at what it is our job in terms of the ordinance. I don't think there's anything here that's going to compel me to tell them to change anything. And I think when a homeowner does changes like this, I guess they leave themselves at some major risk, that there could be a finding that they have to redo something. But I'm clearly of the mindset that these changes, and some of them may be in a realm that you wish they hadn't done, or this, that, and the other thing, but I don't think they don't qualify as having been detrimental to neighboring properties or persons. So that's kind of my position on it.
Guys are very quiet.
We haven't done this for a while this way, huh?
Not this
Yeah.
way. Yeah. Everybody staying well?
So far, so good.
Good.
Thanks to Zoom.
Is everybody around everybody staying well? Apparently not.
Yeah.
A lot of COVID going around.
yeah. I am looking at these photos again on 450 Lockwood. On the south side elevation photo, is that like I think that's just temporary, a little wood storage, right? It's not, it has a roof on it. Is it attached to the chimney? I didn't notice that until just now.
Doesn't look permanent. It looks like it's on.
Yeah, I think it's just like a little
Mhm.
storage.
Yeah, maybe just a little wood storage thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I have a question. I don't know if Kelly or Will know, when it comes to Webster Grove's detached garages, when you build the stairs, do the stairs have to be on the exterior of the garage? Do the stairs have to be, inside the setback lines, or can they be in the setback zone? That was a question that just popped in my mind.
Funny you would ask that. Danny was just talking to a guy this morning, wanting to add like a set of spiral stairs to go up to a more or less storage space in a garage. And they do have to conform to the setbacks, and also his problem was 10 feet from the main structure.
Yeah.
He wasn't 10 feet, so he has to move the stairs.
Yeah, I figured that was the case. Someone asked me the question today, and I'm like, I don't know. If I get a chance, I'll ask Will. So there you go.
Yep.
Thank you.
So for those listening in on the meeting, we'll officially start in about 3 or 4 minutes. So we're just kind of being quiet for right now. Thanks. I think we're close enough to time, Bob, if you'd like to start.
Sure, yes, indeed. All right, welcome everyone that's online. We just finished our work session. The official architectural review board meeting now underway. With us in the city hall tonight is Kelly Campbell and Will Penny, Emerson Smith, city council member, and then Carol Dunkey, Tracy Collins, Angela Thompson, Ken Burns, and myself. volunteer architects on the board. We have a couple of items to take care of. First, the review of meeting minutes from December 16th. And do I have a motion?
I can make a motion to approve the meeting minutes with just one spelling correction on item 1. It's like the last line of the meeting minutes says double hung windows. W is missing.
Oh,
Otherwise, approve as written. Make a motion to approve with the correction.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Meeting minutes from December 16th are approved. All right. At this point, we have a few that are public hearing projects. We'll start with those. When we call your project, raise your Zoom hand and Kelly will add you to the screen. First one is 143 South Maple. If there's anyone online with that project, please raise your hand.
Is that the right thing to do?
What you just hit?
can you hear us, Nancy?
Yeah, there you go.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, here we are.
Good,
We're not-
good evening. Are you the homeowner?
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
welcome.
Thank you.
I think we have some questions. Who would like to start on the panel?
I think we're all kind of curious about the extent of the window replacement that you're proposing. And I guess maybe before we go into that, Angela had a good question, wondering why the windows are being replaced.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that we've had other applicants where they didn't realize that their windows, in particular, when you have windows of this age, it looks like your windows, obviously all I saw was from the street and so forth, but it looks like you have historic windows, older windows that are original to the house probably, and which would mean they're old growth wood and so forth. And you can get those repaired and if needed, or you can get them fixed up a bit and they will last you another 100 years. It's something that not everybody knows. Old growth wood gets harder as it ages and is a very good building product, not something we can get today. So your new windows, though, on the other hand, you have chosen fine windows. Marvin windows are fine, and they'll last about 20 years. Insulated glass lasts about, it starts to fail. Some insulated glass starts to fail within 5 years as far as the insulation value. So it's just something to think about. I don't know why you're changing them necessarily, or even which windows. It was a little confusing which windows are being changed. So I don't know if, hopefully I'm not just wasting your time. But I just wanted to make sure that you do know that you're aware you could fix up these windows that you have and maintain some of the integrity of your home.
Okay, well, we do not have original windows in this house. This house is 135 years old. And in the 1940s, all the windows were replaced with aluminum frames and aluminum storm doors, or storm windows. Half of them have been broken. We cannot find anyone who is able to replace the aluminum. And so that's why we've chosen to go back to a wood window, like was probably original to the house. Of course, since these are from the 40s, I don't know if there was an architectural review board back then, but we just have plain frames now, and that's why we wanted to go with something a little more historical look with the 1 mullion down the middle.
So the actual sashes on the inside are the aluminum ones?
Aluminum, yeah,
Yes.
and they hold cold, not hold the
They're
heat.
falling apart.
Yeah.
Right.
How about that?
And-
Yeah,
And we're talking every window except those arched ones in the back.
okay, not, and with like the French doors or whatever, those are not.
Not the French doors, no,
No.
we're just doing windows at this point.
Okay, so it was a waste of time.
That's okay, you needed the clarification.
Sorry about that. Just wanted to make sure that people do know. Sometimes they
Right.
don't. I
Right.
guess that's also where you get the narrow profile of your window is because they're aluminum. However,
Mhm.
I appreciate
Very narrow, yeah,
wanting to change that. That makes
Right.
a world of difference, actually.
right. We have wood sticks in about half of the windows at this point, so that's not so safe, so we need to move on.
Are the
I would-
windows,
I
Oh,
would
go
make
ahead,
a
Ken.
comment, and that is, apparently historically speaking, we don't know what those windows were, if they were switched out and became 1/1s, but the 2/2 pattern, I thought looked pretty good on the house, so.
Yeah, I do too. But
So, let's see, oh, sorry, I had another question. And now I can't, I'm sorry. Well, anyway. You wanted to do the 2/2 windows and that's for basically all the windows really then, is what you're
Right,
saying? I think
right.
that's what- Okay. And then the little ones at the, up
at the
towards. the base.
top, yeah, I forget what it was he gonna do there. Do you remember the little ones, John?
Are those, it looks like maybe those are just
I think
single.
those are staying solid, just solid one window on each side.
Okay, just single white. You're not trying to.
Correct,
diff-
on those,
the
no,
tiny-
those, yeah, not those four at the top, no, those just stay singles, yeah. I'm sure he could put one in if you think that's necessary.
So are the wood frames still there? Or is the
No.
aluminum set into, there's not even a wood frame?
No. Well, I mean, the outside frame, yes,
Trim.
is covered aluminum at this point. And he seems to think that if there is a gap between when the aluminum window comes out and the frame that is there, they have something that fills in there that would be black then to match up to the white frame on the outside.
that was my question. So the windows are gonna be black with black grills and.
Yeah. Eventually, we plan on, repainting everything. I know it's not the best combination at this point, but it's kind of a process.
Yeah, I guess I would be concerned about keeping those arched windows because those are white with white grills, and then you've got the new black with black grills.
Yeah, well, that's the back of the house. It's not like everybody sees that. We will, but our painter has suggested that he could paint the inside of the arch black and leave the white frame because everywhere else the white frame is still there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we might take, those just are they're not built in, the mullions or the slats, whatever you call that.
Mhm.
So those could
Take 'em
potentially
out.
even come off if it doesn't look right.
With a Queen Anne style house, typically the ornamentation is expressed in the siding and in the trim, and the windows are usually fairly plain. If they have any grill work at all, it's usually small and limited to the upper sash. Did you consider just keeping the 1/1s like you have? Some people like that because it gives them a clearer view to not have their view divided with a mullion.
I was just ready for not just ready for a change, but I've got examples of other houses, but you can't see me, so I can't hold up these samples of other houses
Webster
around
Homes.
town. Webster Homes on Gray and Gore, we're on South Maple, that have the one mullion on both sides, and I just like that look and think it's appropriate for this style.
Yep, I was looking up examples too, historic examples, and really the only Queen Anne style houses that I found there was only one that had the 2/2. It was more of a small farmhouse type. And since we don't know what the original windows were,
Yeah,
it's a little bit of a tough call, but I really think that your house would look great with just keeping the 1/1s rather than going with the 2/2s.
Well, that would save us money, but I really like this look, and so you can't see me to see my pictures. Oh, this is a house on, this one's on gray. And it definitely has a darker window frame. You can't see me. No, I guess not.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a frustration being on Zoom that we can't see y'all. Yeah, I understand that style is real fashionable right now. And like I said, we don't have any background information to
Well-
say what the original windows were. But
Right, and also though, the house originally is really just the 3 rooms just from my porch, just from the porch back. That whole addition on the north side of our house, that's 2 separate additions from the 40s and from the 80s. So I don't know that we were necessarily ever a Queen Anne style house necessarily, just a farmhouse. You know,
yeah, the National Register lists you as a Queen Anne style house.
I don't know how we'd find that out. I don't know.
It does. I looked it up.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay,
Yeah.
so say that again, so I have that for future
Queen Anne.
reference
Yeah, if you
on
look
the
at
national.
the National Register of Historic Places inventory, on the nomination form for the Central Webster Historic District, your house is listed.
Okay, I mean, I know we have the plaque, but I didn't know it was actually listed as a
Yeah.
queen. Okay,
Yeah, and just, it's kind of interesting if you, one of these snowy days when you don't want to get out of the house to look it up and read about your home and the history of the district. And that's all online. And you can get it through the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. Jen, your home is listed there.
that's great. I've been trying to find something. I've looked in old Webster books, but we're never listed. So,
Okay, well, thank you for talking with us about all of this.
okey doke. Do we hang on for this whole meeting now, or?
No, I think once we vote, you're free to go. All right, any additional comments from board members? I guess the question is, so the clarifications were, all the windows except for the circular or half
Right.
circle windows are being replaced.
Right.
The color is going to change. This board is actually colorblind, so we don't really make comments on that. But when we know you're replacing black with white or vice versa,
Yeah,
we would certainly make the suggestion that, which you've already noted, of painting
Mhm.
or remove those mullions would be advisable. I think just.
Right, I get that. That's just a process in the,
Yeah, as you change colors,
right.
change the windows. And, personally for me, appreciation for the fact that homes can get transformed over the years, as everyone knows. And at the time they're nominated, they get labeled. And sometimes they're not always originally, the style. That
Mhm. Right, that's what,
the house has, so the house has some, a lot of character, different period styles.
many.
depending on which view you look at. So I guess my personal opinion is that the windows would be, okay. I kind of, I agree with Carol. I think the advantages of having a lower plane clear inside and out. But personally, I can't say that that's a reason for me to say that, these windows wouldn't work. So. Is it-
I concur that if you wanted to go 1/1 or 2/1 or 2/2, with all the permutations that this house has been through, if it's the owner's preference to do what they're submitting, I would support it.
Okay. Any other member comments? And hearing none. It's a public hearing, so is there anyone else online that wants to make a comment on 143 South Maple? Please raise your hand. You seen anyone, Kelly?
No one.
Okay, with that, I'm gonna ask for a motion.
I would make a motion to approve as submitted, with a suggestion that if the windows are going to change color, the two remaining windows be addressed from a painting perspective to be as consistent as possible, as a suggestion.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
I would like to abstain from voting if I can. Struggling with this one.
Okay, so that's 4 approved, 0 and 1 abstained. So Nancy, approved.
I appreciate your time.
So then what's our next step? Is there something that we can have approval for and make the down payment to the contractor and get all that going?
So
Kelly?
your project, we already have all of the plans that we need. So it will go to building code review. And
Okay.
we will check for egress and a lot of different building codes. And then you will be notified when the permit is ready for pickup and what the fees will be.
Good. That's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, group.
bet. All right, next on the list, 21 Mason. If there's anyone online, please raise your hand and Kelly will add you to the list.
Do you want to hear anymore? Who's that Tracy Collins? I think she's a friend of hers.
Hello? Who's on the line with us?
Dave Dunlap. If you can hear me,
Yep.
Yep.
this is high check for me.
Dave, are you the owner or contractor?
Contractor.
Okay. That's right. So welcome, and let's see, questions for Dave, anyone? I think we saw the revisions. Were there any comments from the board members? I didn't think there were.
Wasn't there a comment about whether the post project above the handrail or not? Because it's presented in two different fashions.
Well,
Yeah, could you give us a little clarification on that? We have a drawing that has the post projecting above the handrail and then one that does not.
The owner really liked the cleaner design without the post going through.
Yeah.
When they saw it in actuality.
okay.
But has this been constructed?
It's done.
Yeah, I thought it kind of looked like it had already been constructed.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
So that's what I thought too. So there is a handrail though. The photo here, it says requesting exemption of stair railing and hand railing. That has nothing to do with us. I'm not sure.
The inspector passed the inspection, but the handrail that was drawn originally that was approved by ARB was not installed.
Right.
Because the homeowner didn't want it. She wanted the stair to be the same as it was before. So the inspector said, because ARB approved it with the railing, that ARB would need to approve it as built.
Okay.
You're talking about the rail on the porch though, which,
Correct. The railing on the step on the left-hand side. If you look at the existing photo,
yeah,
there was no railing, and the as-built photo, there's no railing.
Well, that would be the building department, but technically speaking, if you have,
Right.
what is it, more than 2 treads and 3 risers, you have to have a handrail, don't you? And I would just leave it to the building department. That's not us.
The inspector said it was fine
Right.
because
So-
it was not, the railing was not put on and was approved by ARB. If ARB is fine with it, the inspector's fine with it, is my
So-
understanding.
So Dave, the ARB reviews the character and the aesthetics, not the code.
Correct.
So we, so for us, it's not, I don't think it's an issue aesthetically, whether the handrail is there or not. So I think you're fine with this.
From
board.
us.
I'm wondering if there wasn't some misunderstanding about which railing was being addressed.
No,
Perhaps it was the railing around the deck that he was referring to that
No.
needed ARB approval.
Yeah, and I'm even gonna, I want to be really clear that this board does not
Yeah.
rule on handrails.
Correct.
Being, a part of the code or not part of the code. So we're only reviewing the railing aesthetic.
yes, and that's what
At the
the
deck.
inspector was fine with everything as built, but because the handrail, he was very specific, because the handrail on the left-hand side of the stair as drawn and submitted was not installed, that he was fine as built, but he wanted ARB to give it your aesthetic blessing.
Sure.
Yeah,
Alright.
so technically you don't have a handrail, just from our standpoint as architects. That is, you have a guardrail and you have no handrail. So you
Right.
have, and I'm fine with how it looks. I just want to make sure, like everyone said, if they approve that you have no handrail, then whatever, that's fine. That's their business, not our business. And
Right.
I'm fine with the aesthetics of your guardrail on the deck.
Right. All right. I
I
think,
think, Bob, can I jump in here?
sure, go ahead, Will, please.
There's only a guardrail required if once the steps get over 30 inches from grade. But there, like Ken said, there would be a handrail required for 4 or more risers.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, well, okay. We'll add that to our motion. Thanks, Will. Is there anyone else on the line that wants to make a comment on 21 Mason? Please raise your hand. And that being said,
None.
okay, great. So thank you. So with that, can I have a motion on 21 Mason?
Does a motion include the handrail? Based on what Will said,
I mean, I would say,
got 4 risers.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Couldn't we include in our motion, if determined the handrails required,
Yeah.
I would suggest it be put on the opposite side of the stair from the porch rail. But that's just a suggestion. So
Mhm.
if we're just approving the rail on the deck, right?
I think we're approving the change of the guardrail on the deck. Whether or not if there's a guardrail along the left-hand side of the stairs, I'm okay if there is or isn't one.
Me too.
And I don't think we're making a motion about whether or not a handrail is required. That's really the code.
okay.
That's a code reviewer.
So the motion would be to approve it as submitted.
Second.
Motion is
Was that your
to-
motion?
as submitted and built.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, Dave, you're approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next we have 331 South Gore. If there's anyone online, please raise your hand. And we'll add you to the screen.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Good evening. Who's with us tonight?
Hello.
This is Hannah Tonge. I work for Naismith Allen. I'm here representing the project.
Okay, welcome, Hannah.
Thanks.
Um, in the pre-meeting, I don't remember what the comments were, if any.
I don't think there was any, but at least I hope not.
That
Yeah, I
was,
think the revised drawings you sent helped us.
Yes,
Yeah.
good.
very helpful. Yeah, so I think the board was good with it. Since it's a public hearing though, we have to talk about it.
Sure.
So with that, aside from Hannah, is there anyone else online that would like to speak on 331 South Gore? Please raise your hand. And
No one.
Kelly, thank you. No one else. So with that, I ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 331 South Gore as submitted.
The
Second,
revised.
Yeah, based on the revised drawings.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, based on the revised drawings.
I still second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, Hannah, you are approved.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good night.
Bye.
All right, next on the list, we have 450 West Kirkham. Is there anyone online? Please raise your hand and Kelly will add you.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Good evening, Kurt.
How are you, Bob?
Good. Doing well here.
Good.
I think we had maybe a comment.
I actually wrote down a couple comments that you all made. The first was, I believe, from Tracy about the windows for egress. And if you look at photo 3 on sheet A10.1, you will see adjacent to the bathroom window, there's a large bathroom window at the front of the house. And then if you go back, there's 2 larger windows. Those are in that same bedroom. So we have plenty of egress.
cool, good.
And then I believe Angela made the other comment about the steepness of the roof. And the reason we did that is for the ability to get some decorative trusses in that room, because it's kind of supposed to be like a grand space for the owner. So that was the intent there.
Did you consider, just asking, did you consider just stick building it so you don't, have to do the whole thing, or?
We're using scissor trusses, but no, we didn't really consider that.
I'm guessing that's too expensive, but
Stick building is going to be more expensive, yes.
yeah.
And we're on a, as per most projects, we're on a budget, so.
Sure. Okay, it is, because it is a little steep. I gotta say, coming off the back of the house like that, when the house isn't so steep, I think it will be a little bit awkward, but it's not overly awkward, just,
Understood.
just a question.
All right. I don't think there was anything else. So with that, appreciate your comment, Kurt. Can I have a motion on 450 West Kirkham?
I'll make a motion to approve 450 West Kirkham as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And you are approved. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you, board. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yeah.
All right, next on the list, 15 Oak Tree. Anyone online, please raise your hand. 15 Oak Tree.
Hello?
Good evening. Welcome, Rudy.
Hi.
I think we had maybe a question.
Okay.
Tracy?
yeah, I just had, it looks like a really nice addition. I just had a couple questions for you. The windows on the front elevation on the second floor, it looks like those are the only windows that have grills. And I was just
Yes.
curious if that was
Yeah.
intentional.
Being in the dormer, in order for egress, to meet egress, they had to become casement windows. And when plugging them in, I could switch out the, plugging them into the model, I switched out the muttons, see what they looked without them and see what they looked with them. And being in the dormer, it seemed to give it a lightning effect up there, and I liked them. I liked the front of the house better with the mutton, so I left them in. I looked at it both ways, and it just seemed to have a better appearance.
Mhm. It doesn't look like there's any other windows in those two bedrooms, so there wouldn't be, you wouldn't be seeing two different styles within the
Right.
same room.
Right. And everything else is double hung on the whole house.
Mhm.
Did you consider perhaps having the casements just have one horizontal member as a grill so it would mimic the look of the double hungs?
Again, I looked at it a few ways, and this seemed to be a look that seemed right at the time. I wish well, I could pull the model up and show you both ways, but
Yeah, I guess I agree. It just seems a little bit busy compared to the other windows. I mean, even like just a 4-light window with the one horizontal, one vertical would. But I'm not completely opposed to the 9-light window. It's just the rest of the house seems fairly simple, and so it just has a little bit of a busy feel there.
I would not recommend putting a horizontal single member in those windows. It would make them look like really squatty.
yeah,
Very squatty double hungs, and I don't think that's pleasant at all.
especially with the horizontal of the dormer. It would emphasize that and give it a very modern look that I think just doesn't go with the form of the house.
Did we lose Carol?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I think we did.
It's kind of inscrutable, but I'm kind of half in agreement that I'm just visualizing if you had nothing in those windows, that would be just from a casual eye, somebody walking by there, you could flip a coin on this one, I guess.
Yeah, and my personal thought is, from Rudy's viewpoint, he's kind of looked at it a couple different ways, and he feels like it adds something to the house. I don't feel like, I don't feel like it takes anything away from the house myself, so I'm fine with it. Makes sense. I can see because of the proportions of that dormer, which I really appreciate the low profile, keeping that house in scale with the street. So I did want to commend you for that, Rudy. That's a nice way to add that second floor with while you keep the scale on the street. So, but
Yeah, I agree with that, Bob. I think so too. The addition is, I like how you did that. Nice solution to the situation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, and I think Tracy, maybe you had one.
Yeah, I think this is just a graphical comment, but on the new north elevation, it looks like maybe the hatching of the siding is off. I was just wondering if that's a band board.
On the bottom?
On in between the first and second floor.
Right.
Oh, yeah, the hatching may be off. Let me look at
Okay.
it.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it was appearing a little bit too on the new east elevation. So I was like, well, is that?
You try and fix that stuff, and
Yeah, that's what I figured, but I just wanted to make sure that we weren't missing something. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
I honestly don't know what happened there. Something happened in the model or printing it.
Yeah. Sounds
No,
about right.
we've all been there. We've all been there. I'm
Wow.
like, how did it look correct on the screen? And then
Yeah.
the printer, and it's really bad if there's notes missing in it. It's a bid job.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. I have to go back to the model now. Oh, well.
That's okay.
Okay, well, I think that's it on our comments. So thanks for your input, Rudy.
Okay.
I guess we lost Carol, but there's still 4 of us, so. Do I have a motion on 15 Oak Tree?
Make a
I would
motion,
make it, go ahead.
15 Oak Tree to submit as, or to approve as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're approved. Thanks, Rudy. Good night. All right, last on the list, 450 West Lockwood. If there's anyone online, please raise your hand. Kelly will add you to the screen.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
And who's with us tonight?
My name is Nick Uhl. I'm the contractor.
Okay, thanks, Nick. I think there's some questions.
Yeah.
And who do we start with? Who's got a question? Tracy?
Let's see, what was I looking for?
The brackets were one thing. I think
Oh,
everyone.
yeah.
Yeah, we're waiting on the brackets. There's, unfortunately, they're still back ordered. We may end up, I might end up changing it to something that's very, very similar so I can get one in time. Yeah, currently they're still on back order.
I would recommend sticking with what we've got. We've already been through enough.
Right, I don't want to, but if you, yeah, I'll take your advice on that.
Yeah, I think you should just stick with what it is.
Okay.
There was another question, I think, regarding the Gable Vent. I know Carol, who was with us, somehow dropped off, but Nick, there was a question from Carol about that exhaust vent on the cooking patio roof gable.
Yes.
And I think her question was, was consideration given to the roof or
Of going through the roof?
Yeah, some other less conspicuous space because it just looked a little.
Yeah, it's currently it's unpainted galvanized, or it's rather aluminum. I think we'd be happy to paint it. It just got cold, and we didn't touch anything since I think it was Chad who came through and halted the project, on that end of it. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to do anything further. I can ask the owners, but at this point, it's kind of, I don't know what's less conspicuous. If we punched a hole through the roof, it's on the end of a gable, so it's like it's going to be either facing one way or the other. You'd have to build some faux chimney, on that end. I don't know. This was a quick, easy solution to get the ducting in place. I prefer not to have anything, but we obviously needed. We brought it upon ourselves to move this outdoor kitchen. It didn't have an vent or exhaust put over the top of it in the first place, so I wanted to make sure it was safe, when they used it. And I know that's code anyway, even though I guess it wasn't caught by building department. So we added that. I think the solution, I could just paint it. We could paint it white. That was kind of my intention. I just haven't done that yet.
I think that would definitely help.
Yeah.
Yeah, painting it would help. That would help.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think actually through the roof would look much better. It would be a much cleaner solution and because it still will be obvious, even if it's painted.
Right.
But it would have been nice to set that back in the gable, to have done the corners as they were supposed to have been done, would have made that gable look nice.
Right.
That would have been nice for the homeowners to have what they, were supposed to have.
Well, we've talked about this a couple of times, but it was the decision made by the homeowners to save money, and myself. So they said, "Hey, how can we keep this project in check?" And this wasn't done without their knowledge. These changes were done in consideration of budget, so that they could apply that toward the outdoor living space, the space that they'd actually be using, rather than the gable returns and all the other stuff that obviously was changed. So I do a lot of projects in Webster, and we usually stick to the playbook. But when I have a customer who's ultimately trying to save 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, you start adding up all these features, and ultimately they're my boss. I know obviously we've run afoul of the ARB on this one, so I'll be more careful in the future here, for sure, but that's, budget is always a consideration, so that's why
Yeah.
these things were changed and altered or whatever.
So you didn't realize when you were making all those changes that you were doing something different than what was approved?
No, I didn't really think the gable end returns like on the garage and on the Three Seasons room would trigger a major problem. I mean, I've done it before, again, with owners, we've changed small things and I've never had an inspector have an issue, with those changes. I mean, some of these things that we did on this project obviously were larger, like the deck, the deck change. That we've removed a section of deck, moved it to another portion of the house between the outdoor Three Seasons room and then the original home. And then we reconnected the original, I guess, the side hallway that went to a powder room that they'd like to connect to the outdoor space instead of going through the house. So, I mean, those changes are obviously a lot more obvious and larger. And so, again, the budget's shifted around, wherever they thought, they are my boss. So wherever they thought that we could best apply, the money for the project, that's where it went. And so, but yeah, we have done small changes in the past. This is the first time this has come up, and I did not realize this would be a big deal as far as the gable returns are concerned, or a couple of the details on the garage changing. So, but like I said, I will be well aware in the future here. I've got a large project going on Swan that'll be full of lots of details, so you guys will be able to see it, and we won't be changing much at all from the vision of myself and the architect. So that'll be just one example.
I just from my perspective, when I reviewed what was approved versus what was built, aside from some of the stuff that was discussed, the bracket, I thought the loss of the dormer on the garage was unfortunate. They certainly in the interior of the garage and the exterior both, but it really could have affected the roof slope. So that's one pretty big one.
Right.
Ultimately, for me, when I re-looked at the drawings and thought objectively, if there was any issues, what was submitted, or if it originally would have been submitted without the dormer, I still would have approved it the way it was on. So personally, that's my comment on that. I think because it's on the garage, but any time a dormer gets removed or even changed in size, we typically see it back in our office. That's I'm not in our office, in this virtual space.
Yes.
What I was trying to say was our board has had to review. Yeah. Our board has reviewed projects, especially when it comes to dormers being removed.
Sure.
And the size is changing. Those are pretty major changes and not minor.
They are.
And so, and I know Carol, you're back with us.
Yes, we had a power outage, but we're back. I had to convince my Wi-Fi that I was really me when it came back online. It took a little time, so here I am.
Well, one of the things I was just getting ready to say, Nick, another comment since Carol came back, but I was going to say that Carol had mentioned, and I'll let Carol speak, but about ransom over the garage door, but I'll let Carol make that comment. So
yeah, I feel like the garage still has a bit of a disproportionate look, and the shorter garage door, the side hinge door, to me really emphasizes that. I mean, it's just unfortunate that we didn't get a chance to have these changes submitted and they could have been reviewed in a timely way. I just don't think the project turned out nearly as attractively as it could have, which is a shame. Is it something that I certainly would have made the comment if we would have had the opportunity, that evening up those door heads with a transom above the side hinge door to align with the top of the overhead door would have made the project look more cohesive.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. And I could talk to the owner about that too, you know, if they're willing to do something. I mean, maybe we have an opportunity to maybe add some type of trim work above that door to maybe align with that garage door header. I'd be willing to do that. I've not heard any about the comment before from the previous meeting, but that's a new one, but I can run it by the owner and see what they say.
I think somebody made a comment, if the brackets were installed, it would probably abate that to some degree, and I don't disagree with that either.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree. Hopefully those will be in soon here. We will put those up.
Yeah, so I think, you know, unless I'm missing something, I think at this point, it's, you know, the motion has the assumption that the brackets are gonna be included. And that vent that showed up on the gable is either gonna be painted out to match or moved to the. I agree with Angela that it would be less conspicuous on the roof because you typically expect to see, you know, those vents coming out of a roof, but where on the gable, it's just a little, I don't know, it's like these zero clearance fireplaces, you know.
I know.
They go up on the side of the house and I don't know. It's just like a utility. And
I mean, I'm an old fashioned, you know, again, you'll see it on the Swan project, but I mean, I love old homes and the details. And unfortunately, I run up a lot against budgetary concerns. And so, I mean, like every project, and yeah, sacrifices have to be made. And so, you know, this was what we had to deal with. And this is the solution to make it code compliant, you know, make the hood code compliant without getting into another few $1,000s worth of work on top of the roof. And you know,
right, but
that's
you
what
are willing to paint it, right? So
correct. Oh, for sure, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
So
That was on the.
I have
Sorry.
another question for you on to go back to something that
Sure.
the gable that is on the back of the porch thing, the covered area. It has the way the return is odd. And I'm curious why you didn't build it in a more traditional fashion, if you like gold buildings and so forth so much. Why?
It was budget. It was an easy way to make a return, you know, a quick and easy way to make a return and come back to
it looks quick and easy. And they're too long if you're going to do it that way. Like there's nothing about it that is normal. I've even looked around because I just find it so odd looking. And I think that, you know, I would guess the homeowners would probably prefer it to look like to match their house. Would have preferred all of them to match their house as it was supposed to be instead of this odd way. I mean, the ones that are the other, you know, you did the kind of pork chop cheap way on some of those, and at least they all match there. But I don't know. It's just odd how long they come out.
Are you talking about on the entrance, like from the sidewalk?
Yeah.
The center of the structure.
Yeah, it's like it's somewhere between a modern day return that is done with being chopped off and a broken pediment. You know, it's like it's not quite
a
real thing.
Trying to find the original drawings here. Just bear with
The
me
original
first.
drawings had the traditional return. That is the corners that you typically get, you know, you'd get them with the trusses and you'd get those corners. And did you get those or?
Sorry, 1 second. I'm just pulling up the image. Bear with me for 1 second.
But that's kind of, I'm just wondering if there's anything you could maybe, you know, I don't know if you can fix it up for them. That seems like if you're going to do it nicely. It would have been nice, but.
You don't want to have like a 45-degree return coming back to the gable.
Right, you know.
The reverse
like,
gable or whatever.
Yeah, that's how it was drawn originally, to have the normal return. I'm just wondering why they weren't.
You know, again,
I don't see that as some big deal. You keep saying the budget and so forth, but you know, you could have brought the roof down and saved a lot of money instead of just doing that. So I guess I'm not quite
It was
Understood.
eliminating those traditional returns, just like on the rest of the structure. It was just running the freeze down to where those little returns die into the roof, die into the vertical face of the gable. It was just it was a fast, easy way to make the return. Again, this is all driven by budget. This isn't obviously a situation where, I had this discussion with the owners. We went back and forth as far as where we can apply the budget. And this was one of the ways I suggested, that they and I both suggested, it's like, well, how can we save money? And so it was these returns. It was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There were 10 returns on this project that, again, was a few $1,000s extra in work. And this is one of the things that, they thought it would be necessary if they wanted to save that money and then apply it toward the rest of the 3 Seasons room, as far as the outdoor kitchen, that greatly expanded. So a lot of money went into that. And then a couple other portions of the project. So, I ultimately, I offered suggestions, and then they said, yes, let's do it this way. Great. And that's why we move forward with that. So I don't really have yes, of course, I agree, as drawn, it's more attractive, and the owners would agree as well. But I don't think that wasn't our driving force at that moment. It was, again, we're into this for X number of dollars, and you guys want to be at whatever budget that is. And, Nick, what can we do? So that's one of the things we changed. I don't, comment on, their choices after the fact. That's how we built it, and we finished it like that. So.
Yeah. So I will say in the future, I hope that you do what you were saying. You will just go with the drawings and build what's there, because this is unfortunate. It was kind of unfortunate that you didn't get the details of the house. It was nicely detailed. One thing I have thought of, I know it was approved the way it is. I'm glad that the trim was added to the windows on the garage, and there was some trim added there. I think that helps with the sides around the windows and having some grills added.
And we added some mutton, and I'm sorry, we also added a freeze.
Yes, you added the muntins, yes.
And the freeze board on the gables.
Right. And that does help with that. One thing I was actually thinking, because some of the details are missing, just looking at it, and you could do this it would be fairly inexpensive. You could add the same black shutters on the garage that are on the house. It would tie the two together a little bit, since the details are a bit missing now. It's like that they don't tie together quite as much as they did. Just a suggestion, really.
Yeah, I'll be happy to bring up the owners. I know those are fairly inexpensive.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Since it's just vinyl siding, so it's pretty easy.
Right.
To put them on there.
Right. I will definitely bring that to their attention for sure, and see if they'll approve that. I'd be happy to put those up.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for the discussion, Nick. I think at this point, any other comments? If not, I'm going to ask for a motion on 450 West Lockwood.
I would make a motion to, approve as constructed, and with the revised plans, with consideration that the vent for the exhaust fan is going to be painted to match the color of the wall behind it, and a suggestion that the owners give consideration to installing some black shutters on the windows on the garage.
And that transom over the door, or something over the door.
I personally think if they put the brackets on, they will have broken up that fenestration enough that I don't feel that's necessary. But if you guys want to do it, you do it.
I mean, I think it's an option that you could add to the motion.
Make it a recommendation that
Right.
trim at the head of the garage door be added to bring the elevation of the head of the door in to be commensurate with the height of the garage door.
All right. Do I have a second?
And second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, Nick, you are approved and good to go.
Great. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
And with that, Kelly. Else, if not, the, right.
First meeting.
Start off on Zoom.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess we will see how the next one goes. Zoom again, probably.
Probably.
All right.
All right. See you guys. Have a good night.
All right. Good night, all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.